So you'll need a few items. One is a very thick cloth, which I use an Oxford cloth. It's basically used in making backpacks, and it's very tough. So it's also waterproof. I cut some smaller strips, which I'll use for the edge binding of the bag over here. So you can see the material, one is rough and the other side is more smooth, right? Then I have the Faraday cloth, which is known as the EMP cloth. So it's basically made of interwoven metal material with some synthetic material. We also need to have some Velcro, about 2 cm in width. I also assume that you have some basic sewing skills, or you can have get a friend to help you with some sewing. So we need to visualize how the entire layout looks like. So on the left, we have the Oxford cloth, which is the thicker one. On the right, we have the Faraday cloth. The Faraday cloth need to be a little bit shorter than the Oxford cloth, all right? So you need to visualize the Velcro. One is at the top, and then the other one would be about twice its size with width from the bottom. So this is eventually these two will meet together, right? So we need to basically show you to sew down the Velcro side B first. This is important. Then we're going to overlay the Faraday cloth. And then we are going to sew the top two edges together. Then we are going to sew the bottom two edges together. All right. And of course, eventually we are going to sew the other Velcro on the other side. We're going to fold the entire thing. So once we fold the entire thing, we need to sew down the two edges. And because the edges are going to look a bit ugly, we are going to take another strip of the Oxford cloth and then do a binding edge over it. So this is the finished product that I made. So it will not only fit my entire Cyberdeck, but I can put some extra stuff at the side, like my walkie-talkie. So it's slightly larger than what is needed for my Cyberdeck, but it's because I want to put in extra stuff. Right, so I sort of give a bit of gap just to show you. All right, so I'm going to show you how it looks like, the finished product itself, before I tell you about the different parts of the bag. So you can see that on the inside, so this is made from the Faraday cloth material. It is very important, at the seam joining area, the cloth must touch each other. That means the Faraday cloth must be in contact. Otherwise, the effect will not work, the protection. So when you sew, you must take note of that. So also take note on the outside, I basically sew a binding edge using a strip that I cut from the main Oxford cloth. So I sort of make my own binding edge and sew so that it becomes like this when I sort of sew in the seam. Okay, so it will look like this, and then I will sew it down. So next, let's look at the top, where you can see that at the edge, I sort of sew the Faraday cloth slightly. I sort of align it lower so that the edges are protected by the thicker Oxford cloth, all right, which is really good. So now I'm going to show you how I'm going to place the entire Cyberdeck into my custom-made Faraday bag. So I'm just going to insert the whole item in. So you can see there's still some gap at the side because I want to put in extra stuff like my walkie-talkies and my stick note. So that's all right. So plenty of space. So when you make your own bag, you can actually have a lot of flexibility in the size. So now at the top part, I'm just going to fold down the Velcro. Okay, folding is important because it will ensure that the Faraday cloth at the top is touching each other, making a complete enclosure. Okay, so I'm just going to fold it down and make sure the Velcro is nicely in contact. Okay, so I can just sort of grab my handle of the Cyberdeck at the top with the back. Okay, so it looks really, really nice. Okay, so would you be interested to make your own? If you have a sewing machine, it of course make it easier. If not, maybe get a friend to help you with the sewing when you buy her the materials.